It's halftime of the Clemson Citadel game. I almost didn't even do a halftime show, but hey, it's the next to the last game of the season. Why not? Clemson, well, they came into this game like a 50-point favorite. Of course, we all expect that. Clemson's up 35 to nothing. We have had some exciting moments for the players. We've seen Haynes peel off a nice touchdown. We had Wesco with a nice touchdown grab. And I mean, what about Page intercepting that pass, running it back 57 yards for the touchdown? That was a lot of fun to watch. A big guy getting the interception, taking it to the house. It's always fun to see those guys get in there. Hey, listen, if anybody's new here, welcome. If you're a return viewer, watcher, whatever, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Just talk Clemson football and college football. I'll be doing some shows tonight, maybe members only videos tonight, or a video tonight. Why? Well, we've seen some teams lose today that you thought they wouldn't lose. We saw some teams go ahead and lose that we were pretty sure that their schedule was easy. Indiana's who I'm talking about. And there's other teams right now. Colorado is struggling with Kansas. You have BYU getting their head ripped off. I'll talk about that, but right now I'll talk about Clemson. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. If you're a member, $3 or $5 per month, you'll be able to watch tonight's show, barring technical difficulties or unless something comes up. So anyway, good to see a bunch of people in here. So let's talk about this game. Okay. The key for this game, it is a game. It's the next to the last game of the year. It's senior day, all that bunch of stuff, military day, and that stuff does matter, okay? I'm not trying to take away from that. What I do want to talk about is that this team, Clemson's football team, has a very big game next week. And this is not just your whole rivalry with South Carolina. South Carolina is good for the first time since the Spurrier years. Like, you have to respect them at this point, whether you want to or not, whether you want to talk about the overall series lead that Clemson has over South Carolina. That I would be 72 years old, 73 years old for South Carolina to tie it if they won from now on. And that's how long they would have to win consecutively before they tie up the series. But next week's a big deal. The Citadel playing against Clemson in their last game of the season. The big thing is that you want Clemson, who just went up 35 to nothing. They did what they were supposed to do. There are some concerns. I'll talk about that in just a second. But Clemson, listen to me, Clemson is winning 35 to nothing. They have the game out of hand. And so a team that's already riddled with injuries needs to get their players, since they're up 35 to nothing, Cade does not need to see the field in the second half. For all of y'all who were wetting your drawers to let him play, he played. He has 2 touchdown passes. Yank his tail, you're up 35 to nothing. If the Citadel can come back on you, the Citadel, we have big problems. Pull Phil Maffa. Pull all your major players. Let second, third, fourth, fifth string come out there and play. Get a war vet out of the stands. Drag his old tail down there with his walker. He can even wear his Purple Heart. You can get some cheerleader out there. Suit up Neff, our athletic director. Tell him to take off that navy blue jacket. He can unfold his hands like an old Wesleyan preacher. Come out there, let him play a little bit. Maybe find some Tub-a-lard sitting up there that works down at the plant, but he knows everything about Clemson football to an annoying point. Let him come out there and play. And he might even have his OSHA-approved lime green or highlight yellow colored shirt on. Let him come out there, do his thing. But don't you dare let these starters come out and risk more of them get injured. Because next week you do have South Carolina, and this is not a crappy South Carolina team. This is a team who a lot of people believe will come to Death Valley and beat you. So let's talk about some of the things to be concerned about. I did the I did the the positives, and I mean you're 35-0. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Clemson's defense has been giving up a lot of yardage. And what about the busted coverage? Now, for some of you are going to say, well, Brian, we're still up 35-0. You're not happy, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. When you play a good team next week, Sellers completes that pass for the touchdown. You're down 7-0. If your defense is getting gashed by Citadel, have you seen Rocket Sanders run? Have you seen Lenoris Sellers run the football? I have. And this is game 11 for Clemson. This is not one of those games that some of you, not all of you, but some of you, you'll come on here and you'll be like, this is early in the season. What's your excuse now? Well, there's injuries. There's always an excuse with you. Why does Clemson always have injuries now? Like bad. Have you noticed Clemson can't stay healthy? Have you noticed that? Other teams, they play the same amount of the season. Yeah, they have injuries here and there, but Clemson stays injured. Clemson stays injured. But that's fine. That's fine. You just, I guess the coaches are feeding you excuses, and that's what makes you sleep at night. But, I mean, the defense is getting pushed around. They've been pushed around. Clemson is winning 35-0. I'm glad that they're winning this game. They're supposed to win by 50. That's great. It's just very alarming that the Citadel has ran the ball on Clemson like they are. This is game 11, so that they don't have their feet up under them. That excuse is out the window. So nice try. And then injury. Every team in America right now has some form of injury. But Clemson's just get, I mean, it just doesn't. Next week is the last game of the regular season. And a lot of the excuses that some of you eat, sleep, and breathe, it's not going to stand up next week. It's just not. All your good Gamecock jokes, not going to stand up next week unless Clemson and their coaching staff, as a majority, comes out and changes some things. It's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. Somebody just asked in the comment section, anybody paying attention to the South Carolina game? Yeah, Wofford's actually giving them a game right now. And I would not be shocked if Lenoris Sellers is, and the boys are thinking about next week at Clemson. So, yeah, the 5-6 Wofford Terriers are giving them a game right now before halftime, but do not be fooled. And also, here's another thing to Clemson fans. If the only way that Clemson can win games is for teams to play bad, that doesn't mean your team is good. So if any of us are hoping that, oh, South Carolina looks bad against Wofford, we're going to conveniently forget what they've done to Missouri, what they did to, even though they lost to Alabama, what they did to Alabama, what they did to Texas A&M. We're going to make us feel better about ourselves. We're going to lie to ourselves and conveniently forget what happened. Folks, Clemson cannot, listen to me, Clemson cannot play this way that they're playing against the Citadel next week at home against South Carolina. I am glad once again that Clemson is up 35-0. I'm glad to see that nice interception and rumble for Peyton Page. The jerseys look great. I think it was an incredible shot above the field where they got the home sideline view of the stadium. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful shot. Of course, you know I'm from that area. It's a beautiful area to be in. Clemson, South Carolina area is absolutely breathtaking. And I mean, you're right there at the mountains, you're right there at the lake. So anyway, it was a beautiful look. It's just it just bothers me that the Citadel is gashing our defense, and that we've seen busted coverage in the secondary with Citadel. So if that's not fixed by in game 11, I don't know what to tell you. Even with injuries, Those guys should know better against Citadel. It's not like you're having to guard somebody from Oregon or Ohio State. It's the Citadel. No offense, the Citadel. I'm If you know football, you know exactly what I'm leaning into. Rodney Jones, we play this way next week. Carolina win by 10 points or more. Yeah, you're right. 100% right. All right, well, folks, good question here. West by North. Are you Clemson fans going to be rooting for Syracuse next week? Well, hey, if y'all didn't watch the Wake Forest game, Wake Forest, I know they ended up getting blown out by Miami. That final score showed, in that last quarter, you would be shocked how close that game really, really was. Wake Forest they didn't have an offensive line. Okay? They did not have an offensive line. All right? Somebody just said, I guess the second half, K to start in third quarter. Well, if they lay a helmet to his knee and he can't play next week, I hope piling it on against Citadel once the game is over is really, really worth it. That's just really, Anyway, but yeah, that game with Wake Forest was very, very close. And then at the end, Wake Forest just kept making mistakes, and then Miami capitalized it, made it much worse. That game was 20-14 for a very long time, a long, long time. And so Syracuse might pull the unthinkable, but I think Miami's going to be on top of their game next week, or next weekend. They'll end up, They'll take care of business. But Tiger Tom, first half is kind of disturbing in terms of the defense, not like we're playing Georgia or something. You know what, Tiger Tom? You're not a real fan. You don't love your team. How dare you point out something that's so obvious, like two naked old people running in front of you? I can't believe you, Tiger Tom. Of course, I'm kidding, because that's what people says to me. Yeah, it is disturbing, but Clemson faithful, the majority of them still don't care. It's a win, and it's a win. And if South Carolina smacks them around next week, I wonder how that happened. Yep. I wonder how that happened. All right, folks, I'll be doing some at least one more video tonight. It may be for members only. One of the if the technical blah 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 goes through, and I can work that out. It'll be the first time. So if you want to join and see that tonight, or in some of the new member stuff that I will be doing, $3 or $5 per month, it's below. The join button is below this video. Y'all take care of yourselves, and as always, go Tigers.